Okay, just calm down. Welcome to the 6th full day that we have spent in Japan. We are in Kyoto right now because that is where our hotel is. Today we decided to do a day trip to Hiroshima and Miyajima. Because they involve a lot of train rides and ferries. They're gonna involve museums and just being inside in the AC for like a good amount of it. And we've done so many days where we've been walking in the heat that Robert and I have gotten sunburned and heat sickness, and the sunburns have faded now, but we just need a day that is very chill. I'm kind of nervous about going to Hiroshima because I know it's going to make me inevitably very, very sad, but we do want to see it and experience the city, and so we're going to go. This is gonna be our Hiroshima and Miyajima day trip. Getting to Hiroshima from Kyoto will take a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours between the train ride and the ferry and walking there, and then same with Miyajima, like they're together. So just like getting over to Hiroshima and Miyajima will be like 2 to 3 hours. Then everything pretty much closes around 6. So then we'll get back to our hotel around 8 or 9, and that'll be the day. So just gonna be Hiroshima and Miyajima day. And yeah, so Robert is just about done with his sandwich. So we're gonna walk to the train station very soon. I'm not really up to eating yet, so I'm just probably gonna eat a granola bar on the train. It's in a curry sauce.
No.
So it's a chicken sandwich in a curry sauce?
Yeah.
How is it? Good. So far, the streets of Kyoto at this time of day, around 7 in the morning on a Saturday, are very quiet and chill. There are several cars and trucks, but very chill. The area where our hotel is seems pretty industrial. Lots of tall buildings, lots of concrete, but somehow it feels nice as well. Kind of beautiful. I don't know. I like it. I'm excited to see more of Kyoto, probably Monday or Tuesday. I think we're gonna do another day trip tomorrow.
Oh, now you walk on the right side.
What do you mean?
Well, in Tokyo you walk on the left, in Kyoto you walk on the right.
Wait, really?
Did you not see the sign?
I didn't know it changed based on the city you were in.
Are the rail passes stressful?
Yes.
Because they're non-refundable and made out of paper?
Yes.
They're like $370.
Yes.
And if you don't have them, you had to rebuy all the tickets for even more money?
Yes. It's just amazing how many coin purses we're seeing everywhere. You wouldn't see this in America. Look, there's more behind us. They're just so cool. They're like all different sizes. The teeny one and a mini one.
This one's shaped for onigiri. Maybe it's also an onigiri holder.
I love it. What you doing, babe?
I'm playing Pokemon in Japan.
Are you enjoying it?
Yes. On the bullet train.
I'm trying to read this book, but I keep getting distracted by looking out the window. We just stopped at a station, so there's not much to see, but when there's stuff to see, I just can't focus on my book because I just love seeing all the different things we're passing. We're on the bus to the ferry. Trying to get on the wrong bus, so we're gonna end up with a more expensive ferry, but I think it'll be okay. This is so cool. Right now we are at the ferry station. We're gonna start in Miyajima. So we're taking a ferry from Hiroshima, where we are right now, to Miyajima. And we're here around lunchtime, and our ferry doesn't leave for about 40 minutes. So we're gonna get some lunch, I guess at this Indian restaurant. The Indian place doesn't open until 11, and since our ferry leaves at 11:25, we don't really wanna risk it. I think there's a noodle place open downstairs, so we're gonna try that. The udon at that ferry station was so good. It was the best udon we had ever had. The flavors were perfect. And I think that the fact that it was simple made it even better. And I still think about that udon almost every day since we came back from Japan. Robert is gonna try a new beverage. He's gonna try the CC lemon, he has decided. Might be too lemony for you, babe.
That's really good.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll try it. It looks like I'm boarding group 5 and Robert might be boarding group 4.
Or in Japanese, boarding group Yon or boarding group Go.
So I guess we're in different boarding groups, babe. Oh no.
Just listen for Go.
Here it comes. The boat's coming in real slow.
I am very confused, and it's unclear whether or not these are going to the same place.
Yeah, I thought that was our ferry, but this might be our ferry? I don't know. Yeah, we're getting really close to this fishing boat. This is so pretty. Oh my goodness. We've just arrived in Miyajima and it is so beautiful is my first impression. It's surrounded by water and mountains and I'm so glad that we are here. Robert won't tell me what we came here to see. I think it's a surprise, but my first impression is that it's beautiful. So I'm happy to be here and I can't wait to see what we're here to see. Are we gonna go see it now?
Yeah.
Can we go?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if it comes across in video, but it is completely gorgeous and we haven't even really left. Where are we going? Oh my goodness. So it looks like there's a whole bunch of shops near the train station. So we're gonna walk by these shops.
Unlike back home, they actually have some really impressive looking deer here. That one has a nice rack of antlers. Like Nara Park, Miyajima has its own deers, but these seem to have like nicer antlers than the ones you will see in Nara. This is a very picturesque deer with very nice antlers.
I'm not doing okay. We went to this Starbucks because it has a second floor and so we can see like so much of the island and it's just completely beautiful. For some reason Starbucks in Japan is synonymous with quality and scenic views, which is definitely not the same as it is in America. This view is completely amazing. Robert said we're going to a shrine, so once we finish up our tea and coffee respectively, I guess we're gonna head down to the shrine. It's nice to be around water. It feels like there's just almost everything in Japan. Water, mountains, oh, it's so beautiful. This Starbucks has the best view, so we thought it was the perfect place to get a little AC, get a drink, and then change out the lenses for the camera before we go see the shrine. So it just seemed perfect. And Robert has planned an amazing trip. He really has.
This is Itsukushima Shrine's famous torii gate. I think it's 16 meters tall or 48 feet. And when the tide goes all the way out, you do see people kind of walking on the sand to reach it. This just completely reminds me of the Fountainhead Palace in Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. It's just like floating on the water.
It was very difficult for me to enjoy the shrine because it was so hot. I was just not feeling well at all. I don't do well in the heat because of my dysautonomia. I hadn't really had enough water, let alone enough salt. And even then, I still would have been struggling just because of how hot it was.
I think Linnea's overheating a bit.
So I tried to stay in the shade as much as possible, and then I ended up just sitting down wherever I could. So I sat down on the edges of the shrine where other people seemed to be sitting, and I just read my book or put the umbrella over my head and just waited it out while Robert took photos and videos and actually enjoyed the shrine. It was kind of a bummer, but today was sort of the beginning of the end for me in terms of being pretty overheated the rest of the trip.
Yeah, the heat's really taken out her. Gotta get her back in the AC, probably head over to the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum and Park. Might be the end for Linnea, she's glaring at me now. The tide went out really fast, so it doesn't look as pretty as it did a couple hours ago. It's a bit of a bummer.
Yes, we nearly missed the boat. We had to run, and they were very nice to us, thankfully, and helped Robert get tickets really fast.
So we finally made it to the memorial park for everything that happened in Hiroshima. And this place is really kind of surreal. All through my childhood, I kind of studied this event, and I read books, autobiographies, heard first-hand accounts from people in the US who lived to hear, their version of the story around this. the 1940s. I even interviewed the last remaining member of the team on the Enola Gay flight that led this attack. And in the US perspective, it was the right choice to a very difficult trolley car problem, in the sense that everyone involved in the attack, the Manhattan Project, fully believed that they were going to ultimately maybe take out, 60,000 people in exchange for preventing 1 million casualties at the end of World War II during a land invasion. However, it has new details have come to light with, kind of the revelation that 300,000 people died as a result of complications from this attack, and then on top of that, that Japan was already potentially about to enter into a conditional surrender to the Soviet Union, who, if you go to places in, like the Yushikan Museum, on Japanese military history, what you see is that they were largely more concerned about the pending Soviet invasion than they were about the nuclear attacks on Hiroshima. Ultimately, those were cited in the surrender documents because the surrender was to the US, but in terms of concerns, the emperor at the time was more concerned about the Soviet invasion. However, this did bring about the unconditional surrender of the country to us. So the question really is raised as to, was this 100% justified? Did anyone really know going in the alternatives of a Soviet invasion or a conditional surrender to the Soviets? How much of this was done to show the new balance of power post-World War II? It's complicated in a variety of ways. The other things are that, Hiroshima was only chosen because there were basically no targets left that hadn't been wiped out by conventional weapons, and the goal of the Hiroshima attack was to take out strategic factories that had military benefits, because this was considered kind of like a secondary or tertiary military target. However, the bomb ultimately was dropped over there, behind the A-bomb dome, where, that was ultimately a civilian center, and civilian casualties outnumbered military casualties 10-1, and the factories in question are located on the outskirts of the city and were virtually unscathed by the attack. There's something just very somber about it. I guess that it did bring about a favorable surrender to the US, but the question of whether or not it was initially necessary when there were already talks of a conditional surrender even before a Soviet land invasion really called into question the benefits of leading this attack. And it's just so strange to finally be in this place I've heard about for so long, and it's somber. It's just very strange. This has been a really weird experience. It's like Japanese Waffle House in here. So, on the way back to Kyoto from the Peace Park, we stopped at Hazeya Okonomiyaki, where we had okonomiyaki for the first time.
Okonomiyaki is a layered cabbage pancake.
Well, in Hiroshima it's layered, in Osaka it's completely mixed together.
Yeah, but we had it layered, and it was good, except they put a lot of sauces on it. It would have been a lot better without all the sauces on it.
It was like fish sauce and Worcestershire?
I don't know. It was a lot of sauces. It was nice that it was expected we would share it. It was a really big portion.
I didn't even realize we were gonna share it. It was huge.
Yeah, but they didn't pressure us to get two. It seemed like everybody there that was there with other people were sharing them. So it was like the only place we ate in Japan where they were cool with sharing food.
It was also extremely cheap.
Yeah, it was very affordable. I forget what it costed, but it wasn't expensive.
You were really impressed with their process too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they had it down to a science. It was pretty cool to watch. We are waiting for our train to get back to Kyoto. We're going to have to do 2 trains. So this is the first one. It's an hour and 30 minutes. We did not get reserved seats. This is the first time that we've ridden on the non-reserved seat car. And we got here first in line, so we're hoping that we'll be able to get a seat and not have to be standing up, because that would be very bad given how we're both feeling right now. We got seats. So it's very much a relief, and I feel like I can actually settle in and relax now. Okay, so it is 9 o'clock after a lot of transportation, multiple train changes, then getting on a subway. Yeah, just a lot of transportation. We didn't end up going to the Peace Museum because it was basically sold out and there was a line in the sun of probably 100 or more people trying to get tickets, and it was moving extremely slowly. So we ended up just kind of taking in the Never Ceasing Flame Memorial and just kind of having some solemn time there. Today was a really tough day for me. Riding the trains was fine. Taking the ferries was fine. Like when I was sitting down and there was air conditioning, I was generally okay. My stomach has been in a lot of pain today, but what's bothering me the most today has been like my dysautonomia symptoms. Ever since being on my new medication, fludrocortisone, my dysautonomia symptoms have been massively improved because the fludrocortisone raises my blood pressure by keeping more salt in my body. So that medication is helping me. After almost a week of being in the sun every day, walking around, and just being on the go, like my body's kind of hitting a point of exhaustion and like kind of a point of really wearing out. Like all my muscles are really sore, and being in the heat today, I just kind of hit a breaking point. I was so tired, just not even just tired, like dysautonomia symptoms. So very weak, lightheaded. I ended up using our umbrellas as a cane for a lot of the walking at Hiroshima, just because getting up and down the stairs, I just felt very unsteady, very wobbly, very afraid I was gonna faint. Like I haven't regretted anything that we've done, regardless of how sick I've felt, but today was just really tough. Unless I was sitting down in the shade, I was just wildly feeling ill, really, really ill. That was just tough. We have decided, like we kind of talked amongst ourselves, and we decided that for the rest of the vacation, try not to have quite as packed days as we've had thus far. Like in Tokyo, we literally ran from one thing to the next. Like it was just like boom, 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 which was fine because we were so excited to be there, and Tokyo was when we were fresh at the start of the trip. But now that we're on the second half of the trip, we're not as fresh. We've been in the heat a lot. We've been walking a lot. So we're gonna be slower with how we progress through Kyoto, and we decided to cut out one of the places we were planning on going. We were gonna go to Himeji Castle, but we're not gonna do that anymore because it's very far out. It's like a 6-hour time sink to see a castle, which would be a lot of walking in the sun, which I just could not handle. So we decided we're not gonna do that. Yeah, it always scares me when I feel that sick. There's no other option than to keep walking and just get to the next place where I can sit down. It just really scares me when I feel that dizzy and out of it and lightheaded, because it's just, I have to keep walking and get to the next place or I will not be able to feel better because I can't sit down where I am. Like, it's just always a really scary feeling. So anyway, I enjoyed the day. I just wish I had been less sick, and I'm looking forward to hopefully having a day tomorrow that I feel better. So I will talk to y'all in the next vlog. Anyway, talk to you tomorrow. Thank you for watching this vlog.